still, yep,
And that work was basically putting the two ring paths in place.
correct. I don't think we ended up, we agreed not to extend it out into the area that was originally part of the picture. And the
Yeah, we
first,
didn't paint it on the pavement, but
Correct.
two rings and then the steps.
correct. And so, so there's still other work that was part of that scope that needs to happen around furniture and plantings. But then there's also work that is kind of now in this limbo that we've been talking about. Maybe it should have been part of phase one, should have been part of phase two, which is loam and seeding. And if you go out there, I think everyone has agreed it's not a finished piece of work. And so we've started to talk about how that would happen at the volunteer conversations. And I think Sarah was on that call. I think we agreed that we didn't want to hand over, be walking away with something that looks unfinished. The question is, what could we do? Unfortunately, the loam and seeding wasn't part of the phase one scope and it wasn't part of the phase two scope. I think it's not clear to me exactly how that was missed. But I do know that there was a lot of conversation about it, in talking with Jason, and maybe he can jump in a second, about how some of that work would really have to happen after the phase two work was done, because you can't do loam and seeding and then come in and do all the excavating that's happened without destroying all that work. So that was kind of put on hold. And so given that the phase one has been a little bit over and the phase two might be under, I did ask the community group whether there would be any capacity to help fund some of that. Obviously, we're gonna get it done one way or the other. And Jason already has identified a contractor that can help to do that work. I believe the price estimate that I heard was $22,000 for that work. So that's got to happen, and we just need to figure out how it's gonna get funded. But I don't think anyone is saying it's not going to happen. And then there is some additional work that I think we're seeing there, but there's the mound of material that was removed. We want to deal with that. There's also just work on stabilizing the slope and what can we do to make sure that when that's all done, it's secure and finished. So I think as we bring in contractors under Jason's kind of oversight to get some of the loam and seeding done, which we'd like to do ASAP, I think we're gonna be looking at getting some quotes for some of that extra work too. And again, it's gotta get done. The question is, how might we partner to get that done together? And is the school committee okay with expending additional funds? I know you've heard me say many times, phase one is done. You know, in looking now, that probably wasn't really the most accurate statement. So I will take ownership for that, because clearly the loam and seeding has to be done to be finished. In my sense, I had incorrectly assumed that all of that would be in phase two. So now I'm just looking to see, is there a way for us to partner? Either way, Jason's kind of on the beat in terms of what needs to get done and how to get it done quickly. I think the earliest we can get the loam and seeding done anyway, based on contractor availability, is late May. I think does beg the question, I think, you know, whether it makes sense to have that all put in while kids are out there running around, or whether it makes sense to do it as soon as dismissal's done. It certainly doesn't need to go on, but I think to get it for 3 weeks of work and have it be trampled right when you seed, I would say could be a waste of money.
Oh, when you say dismissal, you mean late June?
End of school.
Yeah. Second mid-June, I think, is when school gets out this year. Is it 20th?
20th.
So right around then.
Is there a
But-
limit to when they'll plan
Right.
how long for the growing season?
Yeah, just.
Is that too late? No, that
Not
should
according
be
to
fine.
Jason, no. No, in fact, I just know from other
Yeah.
non-school related things, some people say you can, sometimes
Plant it
plantings in the fall is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're proposing that, just because I think people want it to look nice as quickly as possible.
And it'd be nice if they could be all grown in by the fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hey guys, it's Jason. I just popped on if you have any additional
Anticipate we'll
questions.
need a shutdown period. So we may be getting ahead of ourselves, but what comes to mind is, will we need a shutdown period after seeding to allow for the grass to take?
I would imagine some type of statement. He can start to answer some of the questions. I haven't gone too far off. He and I had a conversation here today. He's so much closer to the detail. So, Jason, are you there?
I am, guys. I don't know if you can hear me too well, but I am here.
I heard him try to unmute.
Well, while we wait for Jason, I'll just say for anyone for the rest of the committee. So Chris and I just met to walk out there and invite Ken because he's the school committee representative. Get some history and start asking some different questions. So kind of a bottom line thing that seems to be is at some point, there's going to have to be a delineation of who's going to pay for what. And so the
Correct.
question is, moving forward, how are we planning to address that? Is there a meeting to be had? Are there proposals? How are we gonna? And that's a question for all. How are we gonna do that? What's the order of operations? Do you want school committee support first? Do you want to come back with a proposal? How do we want to do this?
So for someone who's getting briefing but not participating in all the meetings, I would say there's an outline of what the site plan is out there now.
Mhm.
So what's the estimated cost of finishing that, and then what's the school committee's appetite for approving reserve funds to fund it? Unless there's, because I think I'm understanding from conversations that there isn't existing funds to go toward the landscape enhancement plan at this point in time.
Are we able to invite to speak to that? Are we?
Yes, yes.
Is that to do?
Can we do that?
Invite pleasure.
Yeah, just you or Jake, do you want to come up? What is,
Sure. Just for a general update on the funds that are available and what the intended use is. So. Sorry.
So I guess, and while Jess is looking it up, I guess, just to recap, Avi, it sounds, what's been completed is structure and put in place is there. Paths are there, drainage is there. The remaining work that's currently committed from Jeffries Creek is some sort of I get, it does not include.
Jeffries Creek work for phase 2 is complete. There is work for potentially helping us with loam and seeding has been proposed, but not yet. It's been, we've told them we want to get it done, so I think we're ready to pull the trigger on that. I think we're talking about, will it be 100% funded by the district as an overage? Will any of it be funded through any savings that community phase has because their portion of the Jeffries Creek work is under budget? And then for some of the additional things that we're talking about, like removing the mound or other
Yeah.
stabilization work, I think we are going to get their input as to the best way to solve that. And I see Jason has been trying to pipe in.
So the mound is generated by the creation of
lost all the MERSed people? I've
Yeah,
lost,
I just texted Pam that we can't hear them, and I'm wondering if they all logged out and they're going to log back in.
okay.
Betsy, can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I lost everyone and then I dialed in on my home phone because I thought it was my internet.
Yeah, no, I texted Pam and Avi and just said we can't hear you from home. So I'm wondering if they all logged out to log back in again. So maybe we hang tight for a minute.
Yep, sounds good.
Neither one of them have answered just yet. So I was kind of waiting before I logged out to see.
That's when it was getting good about the playground.
Jason, can you hear us? Because you're at home.
Hey guys,
Jason.
yeah, I just signed back in. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear everybody at home, but we can't hear anybody that's at school. So I texted Avi and Pam and told them we can't hear, and I think they all logged out. Maybe they're going to try back in again.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I couldn't hear them either.
Wait, Avi just said thanks. So hopefully they're doing something on their end.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't me. Well, it wasn't me at first. All of a sudden, they couldn't hear me, and then I'm like, wait, I can't hear them now.
Yeah, no, I could hear you talking, and it seemed
Oh, you
like
could.
I heard
Oh,
you for a little bit, and then Pam started to say something about the playground and the funding, and then I think Teresa, Avi's saying they're trying to fix it.
all right.
Yeah.
Wait, how are me and you talking right now?
Because I think we're all in WebEx on the site.
Right.
And it's all
Oh, okay.
at home. So whatever they're doing at school with their owl thing that they're set up on somehow is messed up.
Oh, got it. Okay.
We can have
All
our
right.
own private meeting to talk about like shrubs at Essex Elementary.
Oh, well, is everyone else
Nope, it's just
on that's
us.
on WebEx?
It's Jason, it is Betsy McKean, it is Sue Bell, and I think Mindy is on here too. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So it's all the cool kids.
Right.
So they're trying to fix it. So I guess we just have to hang out for a few minutes and be patient.
How's it been going so far? I just hopped on.
I think the issue of funding for the stuff for the playground is what they're gonna get discussing.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
And it kind of sounded like Pam was sort of asking the question, like, would we be going into the excess funding? Oh, wait, now I hear somebody. So I think they were just ready to have that conversation as opposed to, there's not enough money to finish this. So are they going to start asking for parents to make donations when we're doing that out front, which is going to be a little bit of a wonky situation. So I'm waiting for them to kind of iron this out.
Yeah.
I hope they do
Yes.
before
Betsy, Jason knows this already, but just for you, Jennifer, we had, the Friends of EES obviously has that $35,000 that we had voted on last year to donate to the playground committee to cover things like benches and plantings and shade trees and stuff. And it really wasn't intended to pay for seating and loam, and if we used it for seating and loam, there wouldn't be much left over. So I think that's part of the issue, is just trying to figure out, how to use the money going forward, and to use it as intended still leaves us with a $20,000 gap. So we're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
The Friends of EES really has nothing to do with it. We want to donate the money in for it to just be used as intended, but it is a hard situation.
Yeah, Jason, I thought it was closer to 30 the last time the playground group met.
What's that? The seating alone? Yeah, it's about 22.
I thought the gap was when you added it all up and you took the PTO money, there was still, I thought it was closer to $30,000 gap.
Yeah.
So I don't know, this has been talked about for quite a bit, so hoping they can iron it out. So when we talk about shrubs, it's not going to be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much right now. I
Me
just
neither.
want it to be done.
Yep, me too. Me too.
Like, I just want it to be done.
Yep. All of us for sure.
You know, it's like I want the kids to have a good experience and not like,
Yep.
you know, it's a playground. It should be fun and positive, and it's just, you know.
Right. It looks so much better now that they leveled it out and got it all kind of cleaned
Yeah.
up. It's way better. So,
Exactly. It's all graded and whatnot.
yep. Looks good.
The kids do love it, Jason. My kids are so happy with the structure
Oh,
and the pathways look so good. So just to say something positive, it's such a great structure.
Avi said coming back soon. Hopefully it was a Wi-Fi issue. They're at school and I'm home. I'm like, whoops.
Yeah, I don't know if Bobby mentioned this, but like the pathways took a while just because, I mean, contractors are so busy right now. And by the time they were ready to do it, it was like they were doing it when kids were in school and we're like, all right, let's do it during winter break. And then there was snow and ice. And we had a couple of good days in February and it was just muddy. And we're like, this is just not worth it. Like, let's just wait till April break. Kids aren't there. It'll be good weather. So, you know. And then obviously you can't do any of the seeding and whatnot. You wouldn't want to do that beforehand, so it just kind of leads us to where we are. So
Yeah. Well, I know at 7:00 it's town meeting and I know Pam needs to get to that. So hopefully we can talk
Right.
fast when they come back.
So are you talking about the front project too tonight?
That's what Pam asked me to come do.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if they have to vote on it. I think she more wanted us to give them the heads up and
Yeah.
she wanted everybody to know what was happening. So we had a little plan for like a 10-minute thing to present, but based on time, I'm getting a little worried.
Yeah. Maybe 10 seconds. So yeah, did the.
We can do it
I mean-
fast if we have to, because they saw the plan in their packet. I sent.
Right. That
This-
plan was amazing, I thought, and the breakdown
Yep.
was great. I mean, I wish that had happened, you know, to the black. It's very, it looks awesome.
Yep. She's all over it.
Looks great. Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much we just need to, Betsy, we were going to set up some, I don't even know what we'd call it. Is it a survey? How do people buy a plant online? There's some website you can use.
I don't really know. It'll be easy. We'll just make a list of plants and how much they cost and have
Right.
people, I think through Sign Up Genius, you can collect funds.
Yeah.
We'll do it in some way. Yeah. It's going to be good.
I
Just
just
like
wanted
a wedding.
Yeah.
Thing for a wedding, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just want to get it done before school's over and then we gotta, is there a spigot right out front, Jason, for watering?
No, that's gonna be challenge. Oh, out front.
Yeah.
Yeah, the challenge is the spigot for out back, watering out back.
If there's a
Yeah.
spigot out front, we're gonna have to put Marlin or, Louis or
Well,
something
yeah.
on watering every morning because it gets hot and sunny out there.
How about on the side of the building? Is there one on the side?
There's one on the side.
Oh, Pam, are you back? Somebody's back from Manchester-Essex.
Kind of back. It looks like we had a little media blackout here.
We did. We
So-
were having our own meeting. It was a very productive meeting, Pam.
Now,
And what network are you on?
my MEI phone. So I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Can you still hear us, Jen?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
That's going in and out. No, she's at home. I'm gonna try one more thing. I have on top of everything else, it appears not great connection. Can you do me a favor and push, there's a power button. Where's it?
Incredible.
Pam, do you want us to just present to you and then we can get off and then you can just have your live meeting?
We're supposed to be broadcasting live to the masses, so we're just trying to get it.
Okay, got it.
We're gonna get you on here. Just give us one.
Oh, I'm not worried. I just thought maybe it was just us you were doing this for. Got it.
So the owl seems to be operational at the moment. Hear us?
We hear you fine. Yeah.
I think we may not have video, but
Okay.
we do have. I'm gonna record the meeting, so I'm gonna throw up the handouts that you sent to.
Okay, we hear you just fine. We just don't really, well, I see the screen that you're sharing with the agenda.
Awesome. But you don't have like the panoramic view of us in here.
No. Oh, now I can see, now I see Ken and Avi, and there's Pam.
This is the delicate part right there.
I'm here too.
I just don't see you, Sarah.
It's just a little loose connection.
Why do you need the extender?
Okay, we've got the owl on, and got Jen on standby for documents. If we can just get them to present on the beautification of the front of the school.
Yes, let's
Okay. And it appears we are still recorded, so
So do you need me to take?
everything everyone said while we were.
So did you go through the rest of the agenda while we were all chatting in the private? You're up to us at this point, I guess.
We are up to you, Jen. I'm gonna throw up the slides that you had sent to me.
Okay.
And if you want to walk us through, basically. The plan is. And I'm gonna go with the planting plan as the primary slide.
Yep.
My hotspot.
Okay, can you see it now, Jen?
We can. Can you, is there a way to scroll maybe up a tiny bit? I see. Yeah, no, I see the important part. I got it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's good. You want us to go quickly?
I want to hear all about it because it looks awesome, but
Okay.
probably time.
I know,
The
you're
more we can make it efficient, the more likely you're going to get on the record here.
Yep, nope, that's fine. So first off, I wanted to introduce Sue Bell is here from Essex Elementary Student Council leader, and Mindy McNeil, Essex Elementary Student Council leader, because they're involved, and Betsy McKeon, formerly PTO president, now called the Friends of Essex for those that are new to this game. So I invited them to join me tonight to talk about sort of the project itself. So real quickly, for those of you who spend any time at the front side of Essex Elementary, the front of the school was really starting to become a bit of an eyesore. The bushes that were out there were very stocky and overgrown, and it was a bit of a mess. And I had talked to Jason Waldron last summer and asked if there was any chance they could do the demo for us, which was basically rip it all out and provide us with a blank slate so that we could talk about a beautification project, because it really is easy to improve the front of a school by just improving the landscape. So Jason was kind enough to have some of the maintenance crew do a lot of that hard work and get all that mess out there. And then the Essex friends, Betsy, I'm going to kick it over to her to let her talk a little bit about the plan that's in front of you and how that came to be.
Hey guys, thanks so much for giving us a second to talk about this. I didn't do much at all. All I did was when Dr. Roberts had brought this to the Friends of Essex Elementary meeting as an idea and how we could support, I thought of a friend of mine, another Essex Elementary School parent, Beth Walsh, who is the lead horticulturist at the Crane Estate. She's an incredible designer, landscape designer and horticulturist, amazing person. And I said, why don't we ask Beth if she would be willing to volunteer some time to help think through what would be an economical but beautiful way to make the front of the school look better. So I did, and she said yes.
And we were really pleased that Betsy did that. Beth took so much of her own personal time to do this. She came up with this amazing plan, and to have someone with that expertise draw this up for us, it was incredible. And then she went a step further and actually broke it down by individual plants and price points, and has also offered I guess, landscapers get like a wholesale kind of pricing thing. And she was willing to actually, once we get the funding go and procure the plants for us. So Beth was amazing. I want to give her the biggest shout out because none of this would have happened without her. So, and Betsy for getting us connected with her. But then Mindy and Sue step into the picture with the student council. Mindy or Sue, are you guys hearing me?
Sorry, I didn't unmute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Sue and I are co-leaders of the student council, and we thought a good way to get the student population involved would be to have them assist the Friends of EES as best they could by generating interest and enthusiasm with the student population, and of course, getting their parents involved as well if they're enthusiastic. And so we would do some kind of legwork in terms of getting the news out to, again, the student population and having them assist on planting day. And while we were offline, we were talking with Betsy McKean about ways that we could sort of get families to fund a plant or something like that, and we can work that out. And Sue, did you want to talk about the markers?
Sure. We also talked about the fact that there are some bigger, woodier plants that would probably have to be managed by adult professionals, facilities, not sure exactly. But then there's a bunch of perennials and ferns that are on the list, and those would be great for the families to help plant. So there's about, it looks about 14 different varieties of plants. So we thought it would be fun for the kids to actually make some plant markers. So that is our plan, to find something that's waterproof, weatherproof, that we can work on. And once the gardens are planted, they can put those out there.
So sort of in summary, all of the folks involved who have just spoken would be helpful in making this happen. It would probably be a sign up genius thing, almost like a bridal registry or a baby shower registry. You put the plants up there, people can click and they can buy one. Beth was going to help us with getting them. I think Jason even said if we need to use the truck, go pick them up. And then we would probably use Sign Up Genius and all of the student council members as well to put together a planting day where, we can get everything in the ground and hopefully get it mulched. And I think it's going to make Essex Elementary look like a whole new school and bring it into the next however many years we're looking at until a new project comes forward. And I don't even claim to guess how that's going to be, but I think it was sorely needed at this point in time. A little facelift, who doesn't need that? So that's the plan. We just wanted to bring it forth and give a shout out to Beth Walsh for her expertise and hope that we can get this done. The goal would be by the time school gets out, fingers crossed, and the weather cooperating.
And can I ask, I couldn't remember why we cleared out the front of the school to begin with. Was it just overgrown, or was there some work being done out there that got some things pruned out and chopped back?
Honestly, I think I've been talking to Jason about this maybe for a couple of years, but there've been so many projects going on, and I really, when he came on board, started bugging him about how ugly the front of the school was. That, I mean, if you're not into plants or you didn't look closely, some people would miss it. But if you think of shrubbery and how we think of it around our home, these things were all long and stocky, and they were just horrible. And then the poor maintenance guys would come clip them, but they were just hacked, and it was a bit of a hot mess out there. And I had said to him, a couple of years ago, at some point, my dream would be to take all this down and start over and get some really fun, beautiful things that the kids could be involved in. And then this past summer, he said, all right, you ready? And I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. And we did. And I think coupled with the new memorial school, it sort of gave us the feeling like, okay, we want to look pretty too, So that's really how it came about. So,
Right.
yeah.
The plan looks great. I love the thought that's gone into it. Very clear, concise, coherent. So thank you. Questions from the committee?
Can I just say one other thing? This is Betsy. I haven't expressed this to Jennifer, so I apologize for saying it on the fly, but I just, I know that down the road, in an unforeseen amount of time, we may be replacing the school. And we're gonna put all this money and effort into these plantings. I just want to make sure that it's not going to be in a very short period of time that we're ripping them out again, or maybe we could recycle them or you move them in some way when that happens. But does anyone have any thought about that? I know it's kind of a hard thing to estimate.
I'll give the answer that I gave when we were taking on the playground, or the piece that I wanted people to be cognizant of. It could be 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years on the building replacement. And I know at Memorial, they did what they could to preserve plants and trees, but likely if there's going to be a full-scale renovation or demolition, they won't be salvaged.
I think 2 years would be a really aggressive.
I know that's so hard to predict. Thank you. Thanks.
2 is, all right, 2 is aggressive. I offer that because we don't know what could happen tomorrow. So I would say anything could happen between now and 2034. It is,
2 years they'll be small if they can be transplanted out back.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what the plan would look like for the school, there are options where you could transplant, maybe if it was out to the middle of the circle, or, I think there are some ways to salvage. I doubt highly that, if they change the facade of the school, they'd probably be lost. But I think if people are creative, there might be some ways to salvage some of that work. So, but I just think it was sorely needed, and I'm glad we're doing it. And I think it's a nice shot in the arm for all of us for the next however many years.
Bobby, I did see you
Yeah, so I mean,
responding a little bit over there to the thought that there's a potential for salvaging. If it's a demo site,
I mean, what I have just seen at the Memorial School project is that a lot of things that we have worked hard to try to preserve were not, sometimes they couldn't be preserved. And then other things, we were told that to work hard to preserve that would add significant costs to that project. And so I would say honestly that we would be happy to look at what could be salvaged, but I wouldn't expect things to be salvaged, unfortunately, not because we wouldn't want to. I think everyone would love to, but realistically, that may be unlikely. In terms of the number of years, it takes a minimum of 2 years to go through the MSBA process after you submit statement of interest and it gets approved. I would say it's likely to be a little bit more closer to 4 or 5 minimum, and I think 10 to plus could be the maximum.
I have an idea. My idea. I'm gonna talk to him. Okay, wait, okay, sorry. My idea is that, my voice is so annoying. When you have the building torn down, say it's in 5 years or 10 years, you sell, you have a sale and families can come and they can buy a plant and they pay like $25 to take a plant away. And then all that money goes to put the garden in front of the new school when it's built.
You can sign me up now.
Teresa's already signing up.
I didn't.
My idea, Avi, is that when the garden needs to come out for the new school, you dig up the plants and sell them, and parents and families can come take them away for $25 a plant. And then all that money goes to build the garden at the new school. That's my plan.
One question about this, because I know we're on time too, and they're looking for, so first, this is awesome. I think that this should be the standard for every project. This is awesome. Avi, is it reasonable to say, have you, looking at this, the things that will, oh, that was rude. Thank you. So, the things that will require some adult help, some of the woodier plants and stuff, is that something that our maintenance, is our maintenance crew going to be able to support this if we?
Been a part of this process.
I know, but I just want to make sure that we have this on,
Jason is very involved in where this is at today. I don't know exactly what the plan is in terms of what would be contracted yet. I haven't put that. So.
I just mean ongoing maintenance of this sort of thing.
Oh.
For ongoing maintenance, are we talking about something that our district can say, yes, we're good with supporting this?
I'd have to throw that to Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the watering can happen. It would be kind of more than we have done in a lot of the places, but I think that's part of what we have to be doing district-wide anyway, because we have enhancements. So good question. We should probably come back with more clarity on exactly how that will happen. But yes, of course, it will happen because we would put this in if we can.
Yeah.
So, and am I understanding correctly that Jason has been part of reviewing this plan as you go, so he's giving the okay for the array that's going out there?
And I mean, Marlon's great. He loves doing this kind of work, and they're around over the summer. And I did say to Jason, there's a spigot out there, right? Because that's always a problem, and there are. I mean, Maggie's there, I'm there. It's like, none of us mind going out and watering for a little bit. And I know at times, sometimes you even can get some volunteers to help out with that. So I think we should be good for the summer, which is really when it's going to matter the most, because those plants are going to have to get soaked right down to the roots the first few months. So I think we're good. I'm really not that concerned about it. I think we're going to be so excited to see what this looks like. I think it's going to change. I love doing this. I do it at my house, and that's why we keep moving, because I need to keep redoing things. So my husband doesn't want to hear that anymore, but honestly, I think it's going to be great. I think having the kids involved and the parents is going to bring back a strong sense of community, which I know we've all been lacking over the last 2 years.
Definitely.
So we're ready to go, and I'm glad the Friends of ES are willing to help us and partner with us. And, whether it's an afternoon after school or a Saturday or whatever we have to figure out, I know we can get it done.
Fantastic. And I'll just quickly clarify, I wasn't being cavalier with the 2-year comment. What we saw at Memorial School is toward its end, it had some catastrophic failures that caused large infusions of money, like $350,000, $400,000 repair a water line. There is likelihood that something could happen over the next couple of years that accelerates our timeline for having to or wanting to do something because of the cost that goes into it. So I'm not trying to be dramatic with saying 2 years. I just feel like we're on borrowed time. So we need to be prepared that if we're committing to anything, we just really don't know what the future is going to bring. On the flip side of that, it could be 2035 and going strong and a very healthy array of new plants. Front of the building will no longer be new, but they will be mature. So I appreciate the work that's gone into this. This is a really, really nice plan.
Good. Well, thanks for letting us share it. So we have a green light to go ahead and start moving on it?
Committee needs to vote. And this is here because they're making a permanent change to the landscape and facade because it's going to come up as an issue when there's a building project, because they're changing something that could now need to be considered as other work is done. That's why it comes.
No, that's okay. Is there a motion to approve the landscape improvement plan for Essex Elementary School? Ken moved. Is there a second? Any further discussion?
This is great.
All in favor, we can just say it all at once. Aye.
Aye.
Yay. Thank you. So I'll set up a meeting to talk to Betsy and Sue and Mindy and Jason, and we'll, get the next steps rolling. We've been just kind of waiting to be able to share this with you. So we're good.
Thank you guys for being patient with the technology. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good luck tonight.
Thanks. Yeah. Maybe one more quick piece of business.
Yeah.
The district calendar.
Yeah.
I'd love to get that up.
Okay, so we tabled this last time because we thought Teresa might want to weigh in and she wasn't here. And we were talking about November, because November, the way it is now, has it's always no school in November, but we've got this issue where we have November 9th, 10th, and 11th. So November 11th is a holiday because it's Veterans Day, which is a Friday holiday. And then the 10th is the day before that, which would be a professional development.
Parent conferences.
So why is it? It looks like yellow.
Because it's great. It's K-8 parent conference in high school.
Okay, so I wasn't wrong.
It's a little bit of both.
But it's no school.
It's a blend.
No school for either. And then we would also be adding in an early release the day before, which might be nice.
Well, it's just for a quick
K-8.
point of reference. Typically, what is scheduled to be the 9th and the 10th next year would be the 7th and the 8th. It's usually election day and the Monday before election day, half day the Monday before, full day of conferences on election day. The thinking is because it's compounded next year with the Veterans Day in that week, take the days. We no longer need to not have school on election day because we have the new facility at Memorial to accommodate people coming in and out. And just stack the 2 days together ahead of the holiday weekend, which means at least the kids can come for 2.5 consecutive days. Then there's a break, then there's a full week of school, and then the holiday week, instead of it being all chopped up. So we're not gaining back any time, really. We're just kind of consolidating and creating fewer breaks.
Was there concern by anyone? Because I'm wildly in favor.
No, I just thought you were gonna.
I would rather have all the days off groups together like that and have them sprinkled around.
Absolutely.
I don't like no school November, but I realize the necessity of it, so.
And we did have a conversation about, could we try to do without the half day? And then when we start to talk about, it's K-8, not just K-5, so when you've got 90 kids per team, it's a volume issue, so. We're always open to revisiting it, and I know we're holding October 10th as the October long weekend in recognition of a holiday, but we're still undetermined on what titling is going to be. Trisha and I connected about the kids in SCAR. The kids are going a million different directions right now, so they have not really come back to us. I don't think we necessarily need them to make the determination. I think we can have a policy chat or a decision about whether or not changing it supports our goals and initiatives.
But for the purpose of passing this, we can just say it is a holiday.
If you're comfortable with it, I'm going to leave it as October 10th, no school, and we can continue our discussions about it, but this at least we usually put out and we have dribbled out like when the beginning of school, what the first days are and things. And we're in a pattern, so I don't think people can still make plans, but I know they like to see the final calendar so they can get an early jump on vacation planning and childcare planning.
First big and just because, oh, it's the first day of school.
So does anybody want to move to approve the calendar?
So,
Okay. Okay. Is there a second?
Second read.
Any more discussion on the calendar? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna let Ken take over running the end of the meeting because they're calling me into the meeting across the
I
hall.
think that was the end of the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're.
Is that all we need?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, can we have I'm sorry, you didn't get to give a superintendent's report and like, we okay?
We are fine.
We did our business? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Warnock.
Second?
Read.
All in favor?
Aye.